Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot, and in today's video we are going to have a look at the Ryanair Boeing 737 in a real ops, flying from Memmingen over to Banja Luka in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Now, at the beginning of the video, the sceneries today are going to be, well, World Update Germany from Microsoft, and then Banja Luka is a preview from OrbX, currently sponsored by them, so thank you very much for that. Now, this is a real-world Ryanair route, and we have done everything we could to make this flight as realistic as possible. So let's head right into our Ryanair real ops. So join me in the cockpit of our 737-800, equipped with pretty much the latest standard that Ryanair had on the NGs before they got the first couple of Maxes. Right then, off we go. So we are going to do battery on, external power on. We are not going to use the APU quite yet, we'll only do that before we start the boarding, cause it is rather cold outside at currently 4 degrees. Alright then, so let's set that park and brake. Alright, that's looking good. Then let's go for the emergency exit lights. Attendant call button works. Takeoff config works. Cargo fire test is good. Transponder we can put in 2000 and standby. Alright then, bring us to the aft overhead panel. So the stick shaker probably won't work quite yet, but that doesn't matter. And here we go. Okay, so while the airplane's still standing up, let's go ahead and grab our flight plan, and then we are going to make a decision on the fuel over here. Just a few things for me to set here first. So we are obviously going to start with a typical arrival fuel, let's say 3000 kilograms, what the plane would have in the tanks after landing, and we'll also empty the passenger count here. Okay, so this is our Simbri flight plan, and I am using the Ryanair layout for this one, plant on level 350, no step climbs or anything the likes, with an hour and 6 minutes of flight time. So let's have a look into the weather data then. This might just be quicker. Okay, so Memmingen cover K and good weather, and Banja Luka likewise cover K, and the forecast is only from tomorrow on. We're going to have some pretty bad weather in the morning, but that shall not be a problem for our conditions today. It's cover K. Our alternate Sarajevo is, well, prop 30 tempo, not that good, but that's only till 0800. And you can see it's 10:25 already, so we don't have to worry about that. So everything's looking good. We can go with standard fuel then. And standard fuel today is going to be 5.1, so that's what we'll take. That should even include the fuel for the APU usage as well. Okay, so let's go straight over into the ground services, and then we are going to request the fuel truck, 5,100 kilograms of fuel. And we are going to board 184 people into our airplane today, so almost completely full. And finally we are going to get ourselves some loaders, and we'll have some, say, 430 kilograms of baggage in the front hold, nothing in the rear hold. That is typical Ryanair configuration. Alright then, so that is pretty much that stuff done over here. Then tell you what, lights on, and then I will head out for the walk around. Before I do that, let's actually go ahead and open that door. Unfortunately, couldn't do that from the outside previously. And talk about opening doors, obviously we can get the stairs on 2 left as well there. Right, excellent, so I'm out for the walk around. Now 737, good old stuff over here, so well, not all that much to say. The TAP probe's looking good, the AOA probe's looking good, the static port is looking good. Quick look into the forward wheel well then, and in here there's no sign of visible damages. The wires for the steering actuators are still looking good. Alright, so we're done out there already. Quick look from the front of the plane, and everything is actually 100% as it should be. No damages, no nothing. Well, Ryanair does very good maintenance of their aircraft. We really have to give them that. So, AOA vane and Pitot probes looking good over here, and then we can move on, leading us to the static ports, which are all clear. Let's quickly find a little detour around the baggage belt. The air conditioning inlet is looking good, then the leading edge flap and the landing lights are looking good. Quick look at the engine, there is no sign of any damages or anything, the lights on the fan blades. Then we can move over to the side, making sure that there are no scratches underneath the engine, which can be rather nasty, because they would indicate that there's been a wing pot strike. Okay, so leading edge of the wing is looking good. We do have the lights operating, 2 of them. And we've got our static dischargers, 2 on the wings. So then we can move along the trailing edge, checking for signs of bird strikes or anything the likes, or damage to the flaps. The engine exhaust is looking good, and the landing gear itself is looking good. The brake wear indicator pins are still very large. That indicates we probably got some very new brakes on this airplane, so we'll be careful braking it. And no signs of bird strike here either. Quick look into the main wheel bay. That little pin down here, that's important that this is sticking out and undamaged, otherwise the landing gear retraction mechanism isn't going to work, because that's a little pin in case your tire would have some damage, and if that tears that little pin here off during the gear retraction, the retraction is going to stop immediately, because otherwise whatever shear force there is created that rips off the pin might also do some serious damage inside the wheel well. So for that reason, that is that pin is there. So outflow valve is looking good, the APU inlet is looking good, the leading edge is looking good as well. And then we can move to the aft side. Again, the leading edge of the stabilizer is looking good. The elevator field probe up here and on the other side are checked as well. And the tail stand is checked as well, and no sign of scratches. Okay, then we can move further up to the front once again, and now same stuff over here, checking for any sign of damages, making sure the brake wear indicator pins are good, making sure that there is no damages to the tires anywhere, and there is no sign of bird strike. The same we check all the way over along the wing, and then we've got 2 static wick dischargers, the lights are working, the nav lights are working, the leading edge doesn't have any signs of damage. Lower part of the engine is looking good. Then we can move to the front. Cowling is looking good, and the leading edges of the fan blades are looking good as well. Leading edge flap, landing lights, no sign of any bird remains or anything in the air conditioning inlet. And finally, the static ports are looking good, and the air stair access door is closed. Alright, perfect. So with that, we are done with our checks. So let's head right back into the cockpit. And we are going to start our, fueling and boarding. Okay, so let's start the boarding, let's start the fueling, and then we can also start the baggage loading. And now that they start the boarding, let's go ahead and turn on the APU, because I have a feeling it's going to be rather cold inside. Yeah, just under 20, that is actually okay for now, but let's go for the safe side and start the APU anyway. Alright, excellent. So, let's go ahead. I want my displays on half brightness. Pretty much like that, and we'll just do the same on the FO side as well. By default, I do find the displays in pretty much the entire simulator to be much too bright, so this is better. Okay, so light test. And the only thing I notice is again the pack lights. Those are known and on the hill hold item list is where there is known damages or problems of the airplane that are on there. And if anything, if the plane is allowed to fly with it, then basically and you can't repair a defect right now, then you put it on the hill and that's it. Okay, so EFIS control panel looking good. Primarily we check that now already because we want to make sure the weather radar is not accidentally running. And oxygen test is looking good as well. Alright, the RS line lights are flickering. In other words, the process is completed, just needs its position. But we are basically at the moment where we would go into the FMS now anyway, so let's go for it. So 737-800, 26K engines, and the database is active as of this recording. So no flight plan requests on Ryanair aircraft. We need to type the route in manually. So that is something that I'm certainly not that used to anymore from flying Airbuses, but that's what it is. So Lima Quebec Bravo Kilo is going to be our destination, and we will be the Romeo Yankee Romeo. 82 Golf Lima. Okay, departure runway 24, Kempton 4 Alpha departure, route next page, and then we're going to fly via Zulu 999 towards Bemke. Well, Zulu 999. Then Lima 607 Xabits. And Zulu 2 Tunum. Zulu 204 Getzo. Alright, and then we go direct to Wecken, direct to Gorpa. So, Wecken, Gorpa, and then Devil. I like the name of that waypoint. Alright, and then it's Lima 172 Komar. So, Lima 172 and Komar. Okay, for the approach, we'll take the ILS Zulu. And they don't have any stars published over here, but actually let me just see. If we take another of the ILSs, yeah, then we've got Bravo Lima Kilo available. So if we just take a quick look over here into the charts, then I'll show you what I'm looking at. So they do have stars published over here, but as you can see, it's basically from Komar, which is exactly Omed Omaska VOR. You basically just proceed inbound to Banja Luka VOR or NDB, and out of there then you've got approaches. But as you can see, you've got both the Zulu approach, which also goes over the NDB, and then you also got the Yankee approach, which also goes over the NDB. So I suppose we can just take either of them. I'll just load in the Yankee, Bravo Lima Kilo as via, and let's just see what we got. So yeah, we can take all of that stuff out. So we just go from Komar to Bravo Lima Kilo, and we'll have a more detailed look into that in flight anyway. Okay, so that's pretty much that stuff done. So let's go ahead with our normal routing here. So Kempton departure is what we'll need. Alright, cool. So that's that stuff. Cost NX6. I'm happy I don't have to fly that anymore. So, cost NX is 6, then reserve fuel 2000 kilos. Zero fuel weight, planned is 58.5, so a pretty full airplane. And by the way, refueling is finished, so let's bring that on, and the APU is running for a while now, so we can bring the air conditioning online as well. Alright, cool. So, cruising level 350 is planned by the company. Cruise winds 6 at 24. Like that. Transition altitude 5001 on our departure. At least I'm fairly sure it is here in Memmingen. Yes, it is. Excellent. Okay, cool. So, that's basically that. For the speed, what do we have there? In first turn, Juliet Alpha 242. Okay, let's make that, I tell you what, we're departing through airspace Echo, so we'll just make it 220 below level 100 straight away. Okay, that's looking good. The cruise we don't have to care about really at this point. Okay. Alright, so the only thing I'm going to do real quick here is to go route data. Okay, and the cruise wind is 15 at 32. So 15-32. Here we go. Looking good. Alright, excellent. So that stuff is basically done. Now let's go ahead with our flight deck setup. Okay, we'll keep running on the ground power, saves a little bit of fuel there. And then cruising flight level 350, let's put that in. And our landing elevation, well, somewhere over here as well in this flight plan, was it? Ah, no, we had to go down. That's so much easier in my new airline. Okay, so landing elevation, where is it again? It's interesting how quickly you start forgetting stuff. Here it is, 400 feet. So we do have maintenance here, so we'll go with the ignition on the right side. Flight directors can come on. Let's see what the initial climb is over here. Flight level 70. Set. So first track 237. And we'll put that on the courses as well. 237 on my side. And then later on for the inbound to Kempton, 119er is going to come on your side. And here we go, 119er. So reset, reset. Fuel quantity, 15 left, 17 right, that's good. Hydraulic quantity, 100, 100, even better. And fuel used is reset, excellent. Alright then, let's go further down to the radios. So, what do we have here? Give me the pin charts, airport. Here we go, okay. So, ATIS 118, 855. And 1 to 1.5. And then we need Memmingen ground, 1 to 168. Here we go, as well as tower 126855. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And de-icing, nah. We don't need de-icing today. It's 4 degrees and, well, perfect flying weather out there, so no need for de-icing. Okay, so apart from that, let's however quickly go ahead and turn some lights on, because in the real world the brightness of the clock is very much dependent on the lights of the cockpit itself. So for that reason you basically always have the lights all the way on. The same goes for the radios over here. You can somewhat see that in the PMDG, that they get darker when you turn the lights off, but the truth is in the real world they get a lot darker even. Alright, so this is basically our lighting setup. Now let's go for the radios then. Kempton departure. Don't think we've got any field VOR, so Kempton 108.4 is going to be on the radios for sure. And then let's see what else do we have. Let's just check the approach charts. That's usually where you get the best info. So Allgäu DME 17.2 and the ILS 110.1. Okay, so 11010 and 11720. Oh, that's interesting. That should be saved. Alright, that's gonna be a bug report after the recording. But then let's do it like this. And probably just like this. 11720 into here, active number 1. So what do we have now? That reads 0, then we've got Kempton over there. That is alright for me. Okay, cool. If that's what we got, then that's what we got. We'll have to live with that. So, latest QNH 1031. That was a bit much, maybe. Here you go, 1031, that's better. And now comes the long time of dialing in that minimum flap retraction altitude, which is going to be 3080 feet, I suppose. Okay, cool. So that stuff is pretty much dealt with. Then let's have a very quick look into what we've got for our loading process in the meantime. I do believe that should be almost complete. Yeah, fueling is definitely done. Fuel truck can go. Boarding is also done, so the back stairs can go. And loading up here is done as well, so it's literally down on us now. Okay, cool. So then let's go ahead with our departure briefing. Threats for the departure. VFR traffic is a threat, so I have limited speed in the climb towards 220 knots below flight level 100. Apart from that, I don't really see anything else. Do you? Nope. Alright, excellent. So then let's go ahead with a route check, please. Okay, it is OFP number 4, and we are going from Echo Delta Juliet Alpha towards Lima, Quebec Bravo Kilo. The call sign is Romeo Yankee Romeo 82 Golf Lima, which checks. Okay, so for the routing, it's the Kempten departure towards Kempten, Zulu 999 Bemki, Lima 607 Quebec, Zulu 2 Tunum, and Zulu 204 Getzo. Okay, thereafter we proceed via direct Wecken, direct Gorpa, direct Devil. That's Wecken, Gorpa, Devil. Lima 172 Komar. And then we go for an approach to runway 18. Ground distance is 381, which checks 2.7 tons remaining, 2000 required, so we've got 15 minutes extra. Alright, UTC time 1044, altimeter 103 run, reading 2080. MFRA 3080. Now, flight directors are on, minus the master, standby instruments set. Left seat takeoff, runway 24, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2, and 220 knots below flight level 100. Engine outset is going to be on the runway track, climbing to 5,000 feet. Let me just check on the MSA once again. Yep, 5,000 feet, 4,200 is the minimum safe altitude. So let's just put that into the fixed page. Echo Delta Juliet Alpha /25. What we could do as well is Echo Delta Juliet Alpha 236/25. Just create the point, Echo Delta Juliet 01, erase, and into the... Oh, lovely. Okay. On that case, we'll have to do a little trick. So, Echo Delta Juliet Alpha 236/25 into here. Thank you. Create a little waypoint there, whatever that is. Delete it again, and I've got a discontinuity. Perfect. So, holding next. 236, right hand turns, and 5,000 feet or above. Excellent. And now if we take Echo Delta Juliet 01, we should also have it in here as well. Yep, we do. Alright, and here it is. Once we're en route, I'm going to explain once again how I did that and what I did that for. Okay, so then we just need the initial climb in here as well. And then, what do we have? So, before 80 knots I will abort for any malfunction. Above 80 knots I will only abort for engine fire failure, predictive wind shear warning, aircraft unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop I will simultaneously close the thrust levers and apply maximum manual braking or verify operation of the RTO auto brakes. I'll manually raise the speed brake lever and apply max reverse thrust. When the plane comes to stop, I set the parking brake. Okay, if you call stop, I note the brakes on speed, call speed brakes up or speed brakes not up, and call thrust reverse normal or abnormal indications. Call 100 knots, 80 knots, 6 knots, and the runway distance remaining. Verify your actions, call in emissions. I will call auto brake disarm and select flaps 40 when the brake has been set and advise ATC of the reject. Thank you. We then identify the failure and carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate the aircraft, we redo the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CVRCB, you grab the lid, then we get out. So, taxi, fairly straightforward at this place. It's going to be engine start on stand, so self-maneuvering out. And then it is going to be runway 24 for the departure, so we'll taxi via November, backtrack at the end, and then we've got full length for our departure. Okay, our sit is the Kempton for Alpha departure, which we do have on a chart 10-3, effective 4th of November. Transition altitude 4,000, which checks with the FMS, 5,000, which checks with the FMS. Out of 1 or RMP1 or a RMP equivalent required, GPS required. Contact Munich radar immediately after takeoff, 129.45. Sits are also no abatement procedure, of course. Not to be used during activities of night low flying zones. Well, it's daylight, so don't worry about that. Speed max 250 or below 100 or as by ATC. Now, I put 220 in here because of VFR traffic. So, caution, mountainous terrain south of Kempton VOR. Caution, intense glider activities to be expected. Yeah, and for that reason we are definitely going to look outside as much as possible. So we are going to minimize the hand flying, and we're going to look out as much as possible. Okay, so initial climb clearance is... That's the point where the other pilot will answer. Flight level 70, set once and set twice. Okay, so for the routing then, we climb on the track 237, 6.8 miles, Juliet Alpha 242, and that's 236, 6.7 Juliet Alpha 242, good enough. Left turn 166, 4.9 miles, Juliet Alpha 244, 165, 4.9, 244, that is okay. And then it's going to be left turn 119, 11.6 inbound to Kempton, 118, 11.5 inbound to Kempton, that is good enough. Conventional backup, well, we don't have any charts for that anymore, so we don't really need to do it, but nonetheless, I got the runway track 237 with the ILS frequency in standby and the airport DME active on my side, and on your side it's Kempton VOR with the 118 inbound. Any question on that? No? Excellent. Alright, then let's go for our performance. That's going to be Memmingen 24. We'll take the weights from the aircraft, import the weather, calculate. Takeoff 136. Okay, so on to the payload. So 58.5 against 58.5, 63.6, and 63.6 is also what we've got in here. Okay, so everyone's there. That's looking pretty good. So I've got 24K takeoff, 36 degrees. So 24K, 36 degrees, 90.6. 90.6, awesome. So that's going to be flap 5 takeoff. The CG is going to be, where is it? 16.4. Okay, trim 6.1 against 6.1, awesome. And our takeoff speeds are 138, 139, 144. So 383944, that's within 1 knot, so we can take the FMC speeds. Okay, 144 into here as well, and that's it. Awesome. Oh, I trimmed a little bit too far there. That happened to me all the time in the real world as well, because I just didn't want to waste the time to actually wait until that thing there is correct. But okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, so performance is done. Then let's go ahead and be sure that they close the doors. Retract the stairs, close the door. Suppose they can't do both at the same time, but that shall be good enough for me. Okay, cool. So, with that, I'd say we are pretty much ready. Let's go ahead and bring that APU online, because the guys might just pull the ground power at some point. At least I surely wouldn't be surprised if they did. Okay, parking brake is set, so the chocks can go as well. Alright, let's go ahead and grab our clearance. So 12168 is correct. Let's see if we've got any 8s. No, of course not. Memmingen ground, Ryanair 2 Quebec Alpha, information Alpha request startup. Ryanair 2 Quebec Alpha, cleared Lima Kilo Bravo Lima, Quebec, Bravo Kilo, via Kempton for Alpha departure, climb flight level 70 via the SID, squawk 7102. Ryanair 82 Quebec Alpha, cleared to Banja Luka via the Kempton for Alpha departure, climb flight level 70, squawk 7102. Readback correct, startup approved, call me ready for taxi. Wilco, Ryanair 82 Quebec Alpha. Okay, so that's squawk 7120, and we've got runway 24 with the Kempton for Alpha departure, climbing flight level 70, and that's set twice. That checks. Roger. Okay, let me quickly say hello to the passengers and then we go. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from FlightX. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of Ryanair, you're all very warm welcome aboard our flight to Banja Luka. Flight time today, 1 hour and 5 minutes at a cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. We would like to say thank you very much for joining. Hope that you will have a nice day on board. And now I would like to point out that the cabin crew is shortly going to commence their safety demonstration. Please pay your full attention, as that is not just for your own safety, but also for the safety of the passengers sitting around you. Again, thank you very much for being on board today, and we will get back to you during the cruise with the latest information on our arrival weather. Thank you very much for your attention, and again, welcome on board. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, einen wunderschönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emmanuel und im Namen der Ryanair sind Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unseres Fluges nach Banja Luka willkommen. Flugzeit heute etwa 1 Stunde und 5 Minuten in 35.000 Fuß oder etwa 10.600 Metern Reiseflughöhe. Die Kabinenbesatzung wird gleich die Sicherheitsfeatures an Bord dieser Boeing 737-800 demonstrieren. Wir bitten Sie dafür um Ihre volle Aufmerksamkeit, da es nicht nur um Ihre eigene Sicherheit, sondern auch die Sicherheit der Passagiere um Sie herum geht. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und wir melden uns noch einmal im Reiseflug mit den neuesten Wetterinformationen. Alright, great. So that is basically done. Then let's go ahead and do the safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to the line. Services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, chips library checked. IRS mode selectors, nav, gear pins, that is 1, 2 and 3 removed. Light test checked. This time I thought about it. Oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer and display switches, normal and auto. Fuel 5002 required, 5070 on board, 4 pumps on, cabin utility IFE on, emergency exit lights armed, fasten modes on, window heat on, air condition and pressurization, PAX auto, bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments, cross-checked, auto brake, RTO, hydraulics, normal, speed brake, down detent, parking brake, set, stop from cutout switches, normal, wheel with fire warning checked, radius, radar and transponder, set and alt off, rudder and aileron trims, 3 and 0, take a briefing, discussed, PA complete, FMC CDU, set, N1 IS bucks, automatic, 24K reduced, speeds 373844 set, stop trim, 6.1 set, performance weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode and stowed, flight windows and cockpit door, locked, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete. Alright, great, so we do have startup clearance, then let me talk to ground. Ground cockpit, go ahead. Please confirm, doors hatches closed, ground equipment removed and bypass pin is installed. Yes sir, that's all confirmed. Roger that, we are ready for engine start, sequence 2 then 1. Roger. Before start checklist below the line, air compacts off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder alt off, before start checklist complete. Okay, starting engine 2. Roger. So, engine start commenced at 56, that's N2, oil pressure, N1, so 56, let's quickly see, schedule was 45, so 11 minutes of delay. We'll think about that in flight. That's, by the way, really how you do it on a Ryanair plane. Okay, so engines are slowly but steadily running up. Okay, that first click was the voice recorder switch returning to auto, and the second one now is the starter cutting out. Okay, starter cutout, monitor 2, and I'll isolate a pack, starting 1. Ground cockpit, starting engine number 1. Roger. N2. Oil pressure. N1. It's interesting, really. It is Ryanair SOP to look up at the spar valve and the engine valve. However, down here you've got the indication if anything's going wrong. So, yes, you do look at those, but I'm kind of thinking like, well, if anything was wrong, then we would, we could still look up there anyway, in case fuel doesn't flow. But, well, that's what Ryanair wants, so that's what Ryanair gets. Ground cockpit. So, we do have 2 good starts. You're clear to disconnect. Show me the pin on the left side, please, and have a good day. Bye-bye. Okay, so, that's the signal received. Don't need anti-ice. So, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral and the rudders, full left, full right, neutral. After start checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps. That's 5 required, 5 selected and a green light. Step trim, 6.1 required set, start levers, idle detent, flight controls checked, recall checked before taxi checklist complete. Okay, request taxi please. Ryanair 2 Quebec Alpha, request taxi. Ryanair 2 Golf Lima it is, request taxi. Ryanair 2 Golf Lima, taxi, holding point runway 24 via, whatever that is, straight ahead. Let's see. Okay, via November. Roger, via November, and hold short runway 24, Ryanair 2 Golf Lima. Okay, clear left side, clear right side, and it's right hand out, left turn, and then taxi to the full length. Okay. Config. That's usually the hardest part, getting off the self-maneuvering stand, especially when there are other aircraft standing on there. You really need a good first officer there who can see everything going on the other side here, and who can see if we are taxiing onto that line or if we are not, because you often have pretty congested aprons here, and if there's someone standing over there on stand 2, someone standing there on the left on stand number 1, well, we've been on number 2, but if there's someone standing to left on number 1 over here, that can be pretty crampy. Okay, so I am going to turn off the aircraft location because Ryanair doesn't have a feature like that. Even though, interestingly enough, it's just the icon, not even the location. Okay, so be it. Okay, so November, that's as cleared. Excellent. Before takeoff checklist down to the line. Config, checked, flaps, 5, green light, step trim, 6.1 set. Takeoff briefing. It's going to be a left sea takeoff runway 24, PAX auto bleeds on, anti-ice off, and speeds 37, 38, 44. Sit straight ahead, and then a right turn out through Class Echo airspace, so the autopilot will be used. Climb to flight level 70, we contact departure immediately when airborne, and that is pretty much it. Any questions? Engine out, straight at 25, pick up the hold over there. 5,000. MSA 4,200. Okay, cabin secured before takeoff checklist complete to the line. Now Ryanair has that lovely SOP that you're not allowed to enter a runway before the cabin is ready. Now, do that on an airport like this, and I actually have no idea how they do it on the real Memmingen because I never flew out of that base, but I would absolutely imagine there's not much traffic here, so you just enter, you backtrack, because that takes a couple minutes. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes or so until you complete the backtrack. you know, and in my opinion that definitely makes it, well, interesting. Personally, I would do the backtrack anyway. Obviously, with a big reminder that the cabin isn't ready, but something along those lines. Okay then. So, it's kinda weird when you don't have ATC and you're trying to do ATC all by yourself. So 129.45. Let's just tune the tower frequency here, and then 129.45 is gonna be the departure. So up to 50 knots is allowed during backtrack, and I certainly intend to go that fast here. Don't want to waste any time though, do we? So I did find that some flight simmers make the mistake of seeing that here are the piano keys, here is where I do my backtrack. Nope, we will go all the way to the end unless the chart tells us otherwise. Interesting that they do have some lights standing here though. That's really interesting. Let's stop here for a second. Just a second look at the chart, because I just want to know for sure that we can actually taxi that bit to the back. Because that was looking strange. Okay, they say that's a stopway. Well, in that case, we'll just turn the airplane around over here. But interesting, they call that a stopway, but that definitely looks like standard runway to me. Well, doesn't matter. We turn it here. So just to show you from the outside what that can look like, what an airplane like this can do. Look at this. And watch that nose wheel skidding, man. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Normally you could turn the thing on the dime without a problem. Oh man, I try to demonstrate something and then the MSFS messes us over. That's, well. As you can see, with a little bit of imagination, the plane can almost turn right on the spot. Like if you look at the main gear over here, that's pretty much exactly on point. And now look at this. Despite the chart saying we've got a stopway here, you've still got taxiway leading there. That's welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Interesting as well that our steering effectiveness increases when I reduce my thrust. Well, so be it. Normally on the ground, that really shouldn't have much of an influence. But okay, so be it. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. With all the lovely simulator limitations in place. Okay, so let's line it up properly. And here we go. Alright, excellent. So, Ryanair 2 Golf Lima ready for departure. Ryanair 2 Golf Lima, runway 24, clear for takeoff when airborne, contact 129.45. When airborne 129.45, runway 24, clear takeoff, Ryanair 2 Golf Lima. Before start checklist below the line, the cabin crew, please take your seats for departure. So, MCP, set, TCAS, Tara, strobe lights on, landing lights on, B4 start checklist complete. Alright, are you ready? Take off. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Checked.
E1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Enough. Checked. Command A. Buck up. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Flaps up. Speed check. Flaps up. München Radar low. Ryanair 2 Golf Lima 4200 climbing flight level 70. Camp for Alpha departure. Ryanair 2 Golf Lima München Radar low. Climb flight level 150. Climb flight level 150. Ryanair 2 Golf Lima. Set. 150 checked. Flaps up, no lights. Set standard. VNAV. Standard cross check passing flight level 54 now. And release the cabin. Right, after takeoff checklist. Aircon and press 2.0 climbing. Set. Altimeters. Standards. Passing flight level 66 now. Checked. After takeoff checklist complete. So the objective right now is just to get as quickly as possible above flight level 100, where there is just no VFR traffic anymore. So basically it's getting into the safest airspace as quickly as possible. That's also why we don't take any shortcuts over here for as long as we're below 100. As soon as we're above it, we are absolutely going to take whatever shortcut we can from air traffic control. But below it, you know, go into autopilot and then you just aim to look out as much as possible for any possible conflicting traffic. But obviously at the same time we don't want to kill our eyes, so let's get the sun visors in place. Here we go. Okay, altimeters. Passing 100, climbing 150. 10 checks in a moment, but first proceed direct Xavix. Ryanair to Golf Lima, direct Xavix. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. Okay, so fuel is balanced. 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air condition and pressurization. 3.7 climbing set, fasten belts. Well, it's a little turbulent right now. Let's keep them on for now. Okay, recall checked, 1 to 1.5. Monitoring, 10 checks complete. Okay, great. So, that's pretty much that part completed. Then let's proceed direct towards Tunum. And contact radar 13415. The 13415 Ryanair to Golf Lima, see ya. München radar low, Ryanair to Golf Lima, passing 119 and climbing 150 in Xavix. Ryanair to Golf Lima, München radar low, proceed direct Tunum. Hey, Tunum, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Okay, confirm. Execute. LNAV available, LNAV. Ryanair to Golf Lima, climb level 240. Climb level 240, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Set, 240 checked. Enough. Man, I gotta say, I really feel thrown back into the good old Ryanair days. Really gotta say that. flying to small airports like that, flying, you know, this kind of operation over here, that's really something that I don't say I would miss it, but it's good memories, that is for sure. So, looking outside, the Alps are slowly coming up. Don't think we need this one here anymore. Let's get just rid of it. Alright, here it is. Yep. Over there it's good, and the FO will probably need the sun visor somewhere there, huh? Let's just go over there and see. Yeah, because why not? Alrighty, so, it's not an operation that I miss, but it's good old memories, let's put it that way. Now it's getting really bright outside, so might as well just turn the displays up a little bit more. In the real world, the 737 has a sensor located just up here, where it senses the outside brightness. Then it's got display sensors over here on all the display units. And like that, it comes up with a very good brightness level when you put the knobs just in the middle. There is a little notch there in the middle of the sensors, where you basically put the system into automatic mode. Once you guys get the 777, you will see an automatic display brightness in action. Because the 777 got that switch that just covers the entire displays. But, well, for us this is what it is. So, in the 737, you basically got automatic brightness as well. That works pretty well during a sunrise and sunset. Even though some colleagues... Well, let me rephrase that. There is two ways how you can handle the brightness switches for the displays in the 737. Either you put them in the middle, which is what I kind of preferred, or you put it all the way to the right. That's the two options there are in that airplane. All the rest, you know, nice to have, but nobody uses it. Ryanair to Golf Lima, contact Ryan Radar, 132855, bye bye. 132855, Ryanair to Golf Lima, see ya. Now 132855 in the real world is a Maastricht frequency, but I have no clue of the frequencies down here, so I'm just making something up. Ryan hello, Ryanair to Golf Lima, flight level 214, climbing 240 in Mantunum. Ryanair to Golf Lima, Ryan hello, climb flight level 310 and confirm requested level. Climb 310, requested level, stand by, Ryanair to Golf Lima. So, optimum 390, 350 is planned in here. Okay, 183 miles to the top of descent. What does the flight plan say? 350 planned, no dispatch remarks. Do you have anything down here for more optimal levels? Ops impact, 2000 above, okay, that uses additional fuel already. 2000 below saves a bit of fuel, but we take a minute longer. So if we check this out, scheduled arrival 12:05, we do land at 12:08. Okay, tell you what, let's make it 350 as planned. Yep. Ryanair to Golf Lima, request flight level 350. Ryanair to Golf Lima, roger, call you. And that is pretty much how we do these things in the real world, you know. Now, in the real world, we would have probably thought about the requested flight level a little bit earlier, even though it often happened to me that we just thought about it when the ATC asked us. But, yeah, that's just welcome to the real world, I suppose. So what you do is you compare the... Normally, the flight level the company has planned is a pretty good level for a flight, so even though the FMS tells us we're able to climb the 390 down here as optimal aerodynamic level, that doesn't take into account the extra fuel you take to actually get up there. So basically what you got then is you go down here, you got the operational impact section, and that one just tells you, okay, if you go higher you're burning a bit more fuel, if you go low you'll save a bit, but you're gonna take longer. So I checked, like, okay, we are going a bit late, so yeah, 12:05 is scheduled, we plan to land at 12:08, so let's not take anything that takes us longer. So for that reason, 350 was the level chosen then. Now, if the ops impact section is not available, then I just say, okay, F it. Flight plan compliance, 350 is what they want, 350 is what they get. But that basically, you know, like that you basically make the decision. I do have a little bit more complete video on that available on the channel, by the way, so do have a look at that if you're interested in the exact way to determine which cruising altitude you are going to take. Ryanair to Golf Lima, Contact Vienna 134.35, see ya. 13435 Ryanair to Golf Lima, bye. That is the real world Vienna frequency now. Vienna, hello, Ryanair to Golf Lima, flight level 273, climbing 310 in Montuno. Ryanair to Golf Lima, Vienna, hello, proceed direct Wacken, climb flight level 350. Climb 350, direct Wacken, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Set, 350 checked. Execute. Enough available? Enough. Okay, flight level 350, set once, twice, and 3 times, monitoring 1 to 1.5. Alright, cool. So, with that we're cleared all the way up. I would say it's become a little bit smoother now. Let's release the passengers. Animals out. Yes, one colleague actually made that call. I just loved it. Alright, the cabin crew is probably in the midst of their service, but let's give them a quick call anyway. Hi! Hi there, it's Emmanuel in the front. So, we do expect the flight to stay mostly smooth. We've just released the passengers for you, and the expected landing time is 05. Okay, landing 05, that's on time, isn't it? Yes, it is. Thank you. And be sure to put that service interphone and the PA off. You really don't want to hear all the sales PAs. Okay, angle of bank 10. And that is all looking good. Alright, awesome. So, we are on the way up, and we'll basically take it 350, then we start the approach preparation. We can already see the top of descent isn't that far out. Now, normally if you start between 80 to 100 nautical miles prior to the top of descent, that's going to be rather good. At least that's what we are used to do on the 737 on short haul. In long haul you do it, you know, like 200 miles out, 300 miles out, because you got the time, and in case anything does happen when you get closer to the top of descent, then you at least got more than sufficient time available to cope with it. I just love the looks of the Alps down there, and, well, to a certain extent, even that Ryanair airplane there. No, it's alright, it's alright. I'm just joking. That's looking pretty cool, isn't it? Like, seeing the point where the snow starts down there, having those reflections up here. Microsoft Flight Simulator really is still a cutting-edge simulator, even though it's like 4 years old by now, but it's still going strong. I can't wait to see what FS 2024 is going to be about, but this is already quite cool. Now, I do hope for sure that they're going to include some seasons in it, because I've been thinking for a while, like, what might Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 bring that we are still missing in our 73, or in general in our airline operations in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And, well, something is coming to my mind. There is obviously a better atmospheric model. Right now there's only a single cloud type with cumulus clouds, even though they sometimes stretch them and bend them to show us, like, yeah, what they pretend to be, cirrus and stratus clouds and whatever, but reality is all that stuff isn't really all that, but it's mostly really the it's cumulus clouds that they shape and bend, and that's 700 to go. Checked. Okay, so let's reduce that rate of climb there. Vertical speed plus 1000. So I'm usually happy to accept up to 1,500 feet a minute approaching in altitude, but you know, when you are doing more than that, just go vertical speed. You gotta be careful because you are kind of thrust limited in pretty much all airliners. A330 is no difference there. Surely isn't the 737. Okay, conset. And that's it. Okay, so up here, and that's it already. So let's go ahead and pre-select the QNH. Used to be Ryanair SOP, at least for the pilot monitoring. Pilot flying wouldn't do it. The pilot flying would do it once the arrival ATIS comes in and once you have received the ATIS. But, well, we gotta make a couple compromises. Okay, so top of climb, let's write down a quick fuel check. Here it is, 17 minutes, 3,400 kilos. We're at 17 now and 3,440 kilos. Awesome. Okay, should have burned 1,610. And we did burn 1,630. Wow. So pretty spot on. That's very good. Very, very good planning both by Simreef and execution by PMDG here as well. Okay, can I give you the controls for the approach setup? Yes? Right, your controls in Command A, going straight ahead, maintaining altitude. Okay, my controls. Right, so let's have a little look into our arrival now. So we are going to take the BLK arrival down there. In terms of the weather, variable 2 knots, so what we wanted to do is definitely going to work out. Now a quick look in here, we are cutting that little bit of Italy down here, so Ryanair to Golf Lima, turn left 5 degrees. Left by 5, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Heading select. That should be sufficient to get us around Italy and directly into Slovenian airspace. So it's just that little border down there that we need to avoid, because originally we were filed over here, so originally we weren't filed through Italy, and therefore they probably would not accept us for, you know, like 10 nautical miles or something over there. Okay, so let's go ahead with our routing then. So that's the arrival. Now we didn't have any stars in the FMS, so we just need to create that one manually here. So it's basically outbound Komar to Banja Luka NDB, frequency 340. So 340 is active. And then we can go with Banja Luka 15.3. Well, we'll do that stuff later. The only one we have here is 6 miles inbound to Banja Luka. We got to be above 4,300, so let's just put that in. Oh, about 4,300 even. Okay, and then from there we can join the approach for an ILS. We did say we planned the Yankee. It doesn't really matter. Or are the missed approaches different? Let's see. Yeah, a little, but the Yankee actually fits me better there, going back to the NDB for another approach. So we'll stick with that. Okay, airport chart going up here. So we can get rid of our Memmingen charts, don't need those anymore. That's perfect. Okay, so that is actually alright. Then let's have a look at the approach. So 165 and 1087. Okay, and what do we need for the missed approach? Climb runway track 1500, left onto 037, climbing 4,500, and then left to join the holding. The holding is over the NDB. Okay, so let's take the airport VOR 15.3. Like that. And Lima Uniform 397, we can tune that one as well. On standby, perfect. Okay, so that should be alright, and then we can also tune the minimum 620. Now that's probably going to take a little while to dial in again, but there's no way around this unless PMDG eventually comes up with a better system. The good news is I do believe they are working on a better system there for tuning the minima. Now the way this works on the real world 737 is you cannot actually turn the switch, or at least you can't turn it like we're doing it in a sim over here. But what you do with the switch is you move it slightly to the left, the minimum slowly decreases. You move it a little bit further to the left, and the speed at which the minimum changes is basically controlled by how far you deflect that switch over there. So that's how the real 737 does it. Now, I do believe PMDG is working on an update for that, so hopefully that is going to come soon, because especially when you are operating at airports like Memmingen here with 3,000 feet or so of elevation, then you absolutely do want to be able to dial out or to dial in those minimums a little bit quicker than what it takes us to do that over here. Okay, so like that we continue until we are past Wacken, well, about, I don't know what that is, a beam, let's say Kilo India. Where's Kilo India? Give me that on the fixed page, please. Klagenfurt, here it is, a beam. Alright, so we continue on the heading until then. And I just now see that Wacken direct Gorpa would actually have taken us through Italian airspace, but let's just continue on here. Let's say the Italians, for whatever reason, they are full, they don't accept us, something the likes, happens all the time. So we'll just stay on the heading then. Okay, so I would say with that we have not yet completed our preparations. So probably Class Echo airspace again on the arrival, but let's see if there's any notes about that. Doesn't actually look like it. Is there anything? No. Okay, well then we are in controlled airspace at all times if it's not on the chart. Okay, cool. So then it's going to be 250 below 10,000. Forecast, transition level 110, QNH 1039. And then we need a couple of winds in here as well. So 310, 200. And 100, here we go. Ooh, that was a bit fast. Here we go, that's what we're looking for. So 29 at 63. And then 32 at 40. And finally 26 at 20. Right, runway 16. Do we have the beam point? Not yet. Okay, well then we'll put it on number 2. And that's /105, /10 and /4. Okay, finally let's do some landing performance. 16, import weather, calculate. Okay, looking good to me. Excellent, so are you ready for the approach briefing then? Just stand by a second. Ryanair to Golf Lima, contact Ljubljana 120.5. 1205, Ryanair to Golf Lima, see ya. Ljubljana, good afternoon, Ryanair to Golf Lima, 350, heading 105. Ryanair to Golf Lima, Ljubljana, good afternoon, identified, continue on the heading. Continue heading, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Okay, so that's pretty much this. Then, ready for the briefing? So, threats for the arrival. I honestly don't see many. No, there are no threats for the arrival. Okay, then. 250 below 100 is in, forecast is in, fixed rings around runway 16, 10 miles and 4 miles. For the approach, we got a star that we didn't have in the database, so I did program that manually. So let's have a look at that right now. So here we go, that's the Bravo Lima Kilo arrivals, the Banja Luka arrivals. And from Coma, that's on 062, 15 miles, so that's Coma 062, and that's 14.9, that's good enough for me to cross the 10 DME point above 4,300, and then same track 6 miles inbound Banja Luka NDB. So that looks correct to me. Okay, so from there we join the ILS Yankee approach runway 16, chart 11-2, effective 23rd of February. So that's frequency 108.7, set active nav 1 and active nav 2, courses 165 on each side, and the minimum 620 is in as well. So outbound Banja Luka VOR, NDB, we descend 2,000 feet, and then at 5 DME we've got the final approach fix. So that is what we have here, Fox 5 miles out, 2,000 feet, and that's a 3-degree glide down to the minimum of 620. And for the go-around, we climb on the runway track to 1,500, so we've got runway track 165 to 1,500, and then we have turn left onto 037 degrees, climbing 4,500, so it's 037 to 4,500. And then turn left to join the holding. So in here we now got Bravo Lima Kilo NDB, and there is a holding in there as well. Okay, perfect. So that's that part. Then let's have a very quick look. We've got an arrival fuel of 2.5. 2.0 is the minimum. It's a single runway airport, so we could commit to land, but then we really need to be sure about it. So depending on whatever the course for a go-around might be, we have to decide if we can do a second approach or not. If we do a second approach, then we are committed to land at Banja Luka. So 500 kilos extra, that's roughly 10 minutes, maybe 10, 11, 12 minutes, something around that. 11 minutes, let's say. Alright, so burning 600, now burning 500 kilo, makes 61 tons of landing weight. And I did run a little calculation over here with 61 tons. Wait a moment. Landing. 61 tons is what we have in here as well. Flaps 30, and that's a landing distance 5,440 feet, whatever that is in meter. That's sufficient for sure. And that's using a flap 30 landing. So basically what we've got in here, flaps 30. And that will enable us to vacate on the first rapid exit taxiway. Right down here on Alpha, and then we're basically immediately at the apron. Apron itself is self-maneuvering, stands all around, so we'll probably have stand number 2 or stand number 4, something the likes. Maybe also stand number 3. We'll have to see about that. Any questions? No? Excellent. Okay, and we are now wholly within Slovenian airspace. And they are usually rather good at negotiating direct, so let's go direct to Kumar. Ryanair to Golf Lima, proceed direct Koma. Hey Koma, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Okay, execute. LNAV available. LNAV. Okay, let me do a quick PA and then I'm all back with you again. Roger. Ladies and gentlemen, from Flight Deck, this is your captain speaking again. We will start our descent towards Banja Luka in a few moments. Latest weather, there are clear skies at a temperature of 7 degrees. We would like to thank you very much for choosing Ryanair on today's flight. Hope that you have enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to welcoming you again on board of a future flight. In the meantime, please continue to pay your full attention to the cabin crew for the remainder of the flight, and we would now like to say thank you very much for flying with us and hope to see you all again in the future. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, aus dem Cockpit, hier Kapitän, wir werden in Kürze den Sinkflug in Richtung Banja Luka starten, jetzt noch etwa eine halbe Stunde Flugzeit. Das Wetter dort, klarer Himmel bei einer Temperatur von 7 Grad. Wir bedanken uns ganz herzlich, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste waren, wünschen Ihnen einen wunderschönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und wir würden uns freuen, Sie bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge begrüßen zu dürfen. Bis dahin darf ich Sie jetzt noch um die volle Aufmerksamkeit für die Kabinenbesatzung bitten, bis Sie das Flugzeug verlassen haben und wünsche Ihnen dann einen wunderschönen Aufenthalt und eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Vielen Dank. Okay, I'm back in. I saw we forgot to put the auto brake in place. That's going to be level 3 today. And that's it. Okay, descent checklist please. Pressurization, land out 400, anti-ice off, approach briefing fuel, discussed, IS and outbox, checked and set. Approach checklist complete. So 1039, we can put that on the standby as well. Alright, and that's it. So, we are certainly going to stay inside Slovenian airspace for a bit. So let's go ahead and ask for descent. Ryanair to Golf Lima, request descent. Ryanair to Golf Lima, descent flight level 250. Roger, descent in flight level 250, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Set. 250 checked. Okay, alternate event, I'll start the descent now, otherwise it would have been another minute or so till we actually went down, so let's just start our descent now, that's easiest. Okay. So I told you on the ground that there were a couple points that I wanted to talk about regarding the SOP that I've used on this flight. So how about we start with that just now. So first thing first was the engine out point and the engine out sit that we had. And that one I programmed at the end of the legs page, as you can see over here on the extended center line of Memmingen. Now, a couple of things over here. First of all, in the real world, those things would have had custom names like, what's the IATA code of Memmingen? Because it would have basically been IATA code plus an X plus a number. So FMMX2 would have been the name of that point. So runway 06 over there would have been number 1, and then runway 24, it's simply the numbers going upwards, gets the next higher designator. So FMMX2 would have been the name of that point. Unfortunately, the PMDG 737 doesn't support adding custom waypoints, so normally over here, if you add a waypoint that doesn't exist yet, like so, it would open a page where I could define that waypoint. But in here, as you can see, I can't really define it. So PMDG is somewhat working on it, but I do hope that that's going to be added for the 777, because for ETOPS point, that really does start to play a role. Now, from there on, then I simply created a place bearing distance point. So PBD, you basically do that by going airport designator, course, / distance. In Airbuses, you would have to add a / after the airport designator as well. So Echo Delta Juliet Alpha 237/25, and that's how you create that waypoint over here. Now, I put that at the end of the route, and you might have seen me add another waypoint in front of that. I added Alpha Alpha, which in the Ryanair database was a waypoint that didn't exist several times. Now here we got a worldwide database, so in the real world Alpha Alpha does exist several times, so might just go for something else next time in order to make it easier. And then I deleted that waypoint again, and that basically created a route discontinuity over here, and that way I still had correct distance to destination and fuel estimates, but I could at any time just pick my engine out routing from the end of the legs page, insert a direct to go there, and then the airplane could fly the engine out routing in LNAV mode, and I wouldn't have to bother with using heading mode. Now obviously once we're in the air, normally during the 10 checks I would have deleted this thing, but I wanted to keep it because I wanted to explain to you what exactly this is and how to use it. Now obviously once a waypoint like that is created, you can at any time just go to the fix page, enter it in here, and then you can mark it on the fix page as well, which is how you are supposed to mark your engine out routing in the FMS. Now let's get rid of that, we don't need it anymore. And now we can get rid of the thing at the end of the legs page as well. Funny thing here, from the real airplane, if you go delete, you can get rid of the holding just by deleting the waypoint before it, like that. Now it's completely gone. So PMDG is actually doing that rather accurately, and this is exactly how it's supposed to work. Alright, so that's a little trick that I do like to use from the actual Boeing 737 that really helps you out. Another cool thing that you can do is down here on the VNAV descent page, when you just enter the runway designator. So let's go runway 16, provided that that's the one we got in the route, which it is, as you can see over here. If you just put that into the waypoint slash altitude. So now, let's say runway 16 slash field elevation 400, like that. No, 0400, welcome to the 737. Now you basically get your flight path angle and the vertical speed required in order to go straight into the runway. That is without taking anything into account, so no route, no nothing taken into account. Really helpful for flying visual approach. Not that we were allowed to do it, but really helpful to do it. Now, I didn't do it, but I got that tip from a couple of 737 pilots from other airlines whom I'm flying with now at my new airline on the Airbus. So, really neat little shortcut that you can use there in order to determine whatever you may need. So let's delete that again, and now we go back to the original numbers. You could, of course, just do something like if ATC tells you cross certain waypoint at a certain altitude, you could just do that as well. Okay, we're below level 300, so angle of bank 25. And then we're about to enter the next airspace already, so let's have a look into what that is. Croatia, okay. Ryanair to Golf Lima, contact Zagreb 124.075. 124.075, Ryanair to Golf Lima, see ya. Zagreb, good afternoon, Ryanair to Golf Lima, flight level 279, descending 250 in Mancoma. Ryanair to Golf Lima, Zagreb below, descend flight level 140. Descend level 140, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Set, 140 checked. Okay, so let's do a quick check here. Landing at 08 still, so we got like 23 minutes left. So that probably means in 8 minutes we're going to give the cabin the seat belts, so that's going to be at 53. Okay, or 15,000, whichever is earlier. Okay. So it is a rather short flight. The cabin crew is going to be rather busy there. Normally they call us every 20 minutes, but the cabin crew really is busy on a flight like this. Not only doing the normal service, but also selling the scratch cards and whatever they need to do. I'm not sure if they would do a duty-free service going into Bosnia-Herzegovina. I'm not sure if there is any agreements in place or anything, whether they can do it or not. Normally you only do duty-free when you go outside the immediate EU airspace, but who knows? I really don't know. Now, if we take a quick look into the en route charts over here, then we can kind of guesstimate what kind of shortcut we might expect on the approach. So as you can see, once we're a beam Tabli, that's where we enter Bosnian airspace, and there is nothing on the route over here. Now, This is the high altitude chart, so let's also have a look at the low altitude chart. But again, if there were any kind of warning areas or something over here, then I would say that, yeah, maybe you are not going to get a shortcut, but there are none over here. So I'm fairly positive that once you're a beam tably, you might just get a shortcut to Banja Luka NDB in order to start your final approach from there. What we can also do is have a look at the VFR chart, because those can be rather useful at times. So if we take a look down here, there's the country border over at Omarska. Or am I wrong about that? No, over here it is. What's this? A road. Okay, so over here it is. A beam tably. So if we just go to the left over here, we even avoid that area over here. So basically I'm pretty positive that you would get this shortcut in the real world over here. You see what that area is about? Any text written to it if we zoom in? Okay, glider area Priador. Ground to 6,000. Well, we don't intend to enter that anyway. Okay, apart from that, plus Delta airspace over here. But I cannot see any markings of a Class Charlie airspace on this chart. So this might actually be Class Echo. And if it is Class Echo, we need to reduce our speed below 100 again. So I tell you honestly, I'm not sure what kind of airspace class that is. So let's just reduce that speed, because safety first. The 220/100 puts us a little bit high, because obviously at 220 we've got a little bit less drag, but we can always counter that by just going a little bit quicker right now, say 260. Now that's too quick already. 255. I'm basically playing with it in order to get my airplane straight onto the VNAV path. I do believe this is fine now. By the time we've got 255 knots, we'll be straight on this, so should be good to go with 255. That is how you can vary the descent speed. Now that is Ryanair's official explanation for using the 245 knot target speed on the descent. The unofficial explanation, of course, since that is directly related to the cost index that we're using over here, the unofficial explanation is, of course, if you descend at 245 knots indicated airspeed, that means you're going to get over 30 minutes of a continuous thrust idle descent. In other words, you are going to burn less fuel at the cost of arriving later. Usually when you change the descent speed from 245 to 260, to a 300, let's say, 245 to 300, then that basically means that the airplane is going to take about 6 or 7 minutes additional flight time. Now, in idle thrust, the plane burns some 400 kilos or so per engine per hour. So let's say for the descent we burn 400 kilos, because it's about half an hour, compared to flying faster or flying with cruise thrust, which is 40 kilogram per minute. Now if we do a little bit of mathematics there, let's say we take the descent thrust over here, which we just said is 400 kilograms an hour, so 400 divided by 60 is 6 kilograms of fuel per minute, compared to 40 kilogram per fuel if you were flying at an expected descent speed of 300 and therefore another 6 or 7 minutes in cruise flight. In other words, you're saving about 200 kilograms of fuel by just doing these 245 knot descents. So that is quite a bit. Take into account that a kilo of fuel costs about $1, so you're basically saving $200 just by taking that slower descent speed. Now, if you take an average ticket price of, where is it in Ryanair, I believe per flight hour it's something about 40 euros per flight hour or something, and then just add it up, you know, that is, well, that's about 5 passenger tickets already. So that's about the difference it can make between going that slow on the descents versus just going a little bit quicker. Now, on the larger network airlines, of course, going quicker can absolutely make sense because you've got passengers connecting to other flights and stuff like that. Even when flying outbounds, you always got to think about the inbounds as well. So on the larger network airlines, it can absolutely make sense to fly the faster speeds because it is cheaper for the airline to spend a little bit more on fuel than to have passengers miss their connections. But on an airline like Ryanair, that is an exclusive point-to-point airline, which basically doesn't have connecting flights at all, obviously it makes more sense to accept the delay in terms of saving the money. Especially if you've got an airplane that is based at an airport that doesn't have a night curfew, because then, well, then you don't need to bother at all anymore anyway. So again, easy logic there. First of all, it saves money, and secondly, if you do get a little bit high on profile in the descent, just increase the target speed and all of a sudden you'll be on profile again. That's about as easy as it gets, really. Obviously, since we did reduce the speed below 100, we had a little bit less drag there. That is what put us high, and then increasing the speed above 100 basically just averages it out. Okay, it's 53. The landing time is still 08, so seatbelts on. And here we go. So, where about are we? Yeah, close enough, I would say. Definitely close enough. Ryanair to Golf Lima, contact Banja Luka approach 133.075. 133.075, Ryanair to Golf Lima, see ya. So, ATIS, we don't have an ATIS over here. The airport doesn't have one, it seems. Or is there any published here? No. Okay. Banja Luka approach hello, Ryanair to Golf Lima, Throttle 148 descending 140 in Mount Coma. Ryanair to Golf Lima, Banja Luka approach hello, expect Airlines Yankee runway 15 and expect a shortcut soon. Descend Throttle 100. Ryanair to Golf Lima, descent level 100 and expect Airlines Yankee runway 16. Confirm flight level 100. Ryanair to Golf Lima, sorry, I descend altitude 10,000, QNH 1039. Roger, descend 10,000, 1039, Ryanair to Golf Lima. So, set QNH 1039. 1039 cross check, passing 14,700 now. Checked. Okay, so that does put us a little bit high on the profile here, but I tell you what, vertical speed minus 3,000. Can already select 220 over here because we'll have to reduce shortly. But I just want to get the speed up a bit because that is going to increase the effect of the speed brake. Obviously now descending below the VNAV profile, we need to consider that just because we're on the profile now, it doesn't mean that we're on the total energy profile. Because remember that over here is calculated for a speed of 255 knots. We are doing 270 knots now. So technically speaking, we need to descend quite a bit below that so that we can reduce our speed again and then resume the 255 knots. So that we're completely on the VNAV profile again. So easy formula there, always remember total energy equals your kinetic plus your potential energy meaning altitude. So this one over here only shows you the target potential energy, and the speed is a factor that you simply need to take into account as a pilot as well, so the kinetic energy. Because overall we need to manage the total energy of the airplane. Okay, so we're crossing into Serbian airspace. Sorry, Bosnian airspace, of course. So Ryanair to Golf Lima, descend 4,000 feet. Sorry, correction, descend 5,000 feet, direct Banja Luka NDB. Ryanair to Golf Lima, direct Banja Luka, descending 5,000 feet. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. Okay. Alt hold. Because I want to reduce my and back into vertical speed. But I want to reduce my speed towards 220 now, and when it's approaching 220 then we'll go back to level change. Double change. VNAV. Okay, altimeters. Yeah, 10,040, 10 checks. Fuel balanced, foam pumps on, lights on, angle of bank 25, air conditioning and pressurization 3.2 descending. Set, fast melts on, recall checked, and 1 to 1.5 deselected. 10 checks complete. Okay, so VSD on the right side, or rather on the PM side, which is the right side on today's flight. Okay, we are receiving an ident already. Let's see if that is accurate. No, should be Bravo Alpha Lima 1087, which is active. Okay. And we'll just need to get a little bit closer. Okay, so 220 knots. Why do we do that in airspace echo? Well, the basic theory here is that we need to fly slow because in airspace echo it is see and avoid. And it is see and avoid even for IFR traffic, because in airspace echo, IFR traffic is not separated from VFR traffic. So we need to do that separation on our own. And that means any VFR traffic coming from the right, we need to avoid that. Now, the reason we are flying a little bit slower then obviously is to give us some more time to see those aircraft and to initiate an avoidance maneuver. There has been a study by the German Bureau for Accident Investigation, by the BFU, and they determined that if two aircraft are heading straight onto one another, and every one of the two is flying a speed of 100 knots, so basically you got 200 knots closure speed, the time for each of those pilots to spot the other airplane and to initiate an avoidance maneuver until it becomes too late, where a collision becomes unavoidable, is somewhere around 2 to 3 seconds. So that's the reason why we are reducing our speed here. Now we do go 220 instead of 200. Some airlines would even go flap 1 speed. Ryanair decided 220 is what they want. But like that, you basically got to decide on the speed that you want to follow there. Now Ryanair made it 220. Other airlines make it even slower. It's just that as a pilot you understand why that speed is getting used. Okay, so now we are receiving the ILS item, Bravo Alpha Lima, so let's go for the frisk check. Frequencies 108.7, once, twice, and 3 times. Rings, runway 16, 10 miles, 4 miles, items, Bravo Alpha Lima, 1, 2, 3, standby instruments, set, and the course is 165, 1, 2, 3. Approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments, second cross checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist complete. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's remain in VNAV, we'll just use the speed brake. I was a little bit split between the two modes, because obviously level change would get the speed down quicker, while VNAV takes a little bit longer for it, but VNAV and speed brake is going to do the job. Ryanair to Golf Lima, request further descent. Ryanair to Golf Lima, sorry, descent 3,000 feet. Descent at 3,000, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Ryanair to Golf Lima via Banja Luka, cleared ILS 16, report established. Ryanair to Golf Lima via Banja Luka, cleared ILS 16, will go. Okay, so cleared for the ILS, then we can descend 2,500, which is the crossing altitude for the NDB. And let's just update the direct so that our vertical profile gets updated once more. And at some point down here we would now hear a beep sound like beep, beep. And that's the cabin crew signal to us that the cabin is secured. So when that is done, we'll put the no smoking switch to the on position. It doesn't have any effect on the indications in the cabin, but it serves as our reminder for the status of the cabin. So VNAV takes us in nicely on the glide slope. Decel point coming up in a couple of miles. Excellent. That's really all you can ask for. A little bit bumpy here. So tell you what, the cabin is secured. Let's go ahead and sit them down. Cabin crew, please take your seats for landing. Okay, decel point over here. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Flaps 5. Speed checked. Level change. Now I'm doing it because VNAV takes too long to decelerate. Flaps 5. I'm not sure if we read the approach checklist or not, so let's just do it again. Altimeters and instruments, second cross-checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist complete. So, coming in perfectly on the glide, our engines are in idle for half an hour now. That's exactly what we're looking for. That is an efficient approach. Okay, approach armed, warlock captured, glide slope captured. So, runway heading 165 and 4,500 feet set. Come on, you can go back to idle, my friend. That was a little unnecessary adding thrust now, but I could probably just have set the speed target down a bit earlier as well. In any case, that's the airport in sight, just in the front over there. So let's get rid of the sun visors. Okay, terrain noted. High terrain to the right hand side. To the left hand side it's generally lower. Ryanair to Golf Lima established. Ryanair to Golf Lima, roger, contact tower 133.075, bye bye. 133.075, Ryanair to Golf Lima, bye. Interesting, is that the same frequency? Yes, it is. Tower is doing approach here. Feels like VATSIM. Okay, so be it. So then let's also quickly change that ADF around. Tower low, Ryanair to Golf Lima, ILS 16. Ryanair to Golf Lima, when you look at tower low, wind variable 2 knots, runway 16, clear to land. Runway 16, clear land, Ryanair to Golf Lima. Gear down, flaps 15, landing checklist to flaps. Gear down, speed checked. Start switches, continuous, recall, checked, speed brake, armed green light, landing gear, down 3 green, auto brake, 3 sets, holding at flaps. Flaps 30, speed checked. Flaps 30, landing checklist. Complete the landing checklist. So, flaps 30, 30, green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete, crew seated, clear to land. Alright, awesome. So, auto thrust off. Autopilot off. 500 continue. Checked. Little bit turbulent here as we can see, but overall working really well.
Plus 100.
Checked.
Minimums.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Okay, spoilers. Reverse green. No, that's Airbus. Speed brake up. Thrust reverse normal. Idle. That's Boeing. 100 knots. 80 knots. 60 knots. Manual brakes. Auto brake disarm. Alright, runway vacated. I'll start the APU straight away because it's a rather short taxi in here. Ryanair Takeoff Lima. Taxi stand 4, have a good day. Stand 4, Ryanair Takeoff Lima. See you later. So stand 4 is the last one. Then let's start tidying up. Why is my speed brake? Oh, because of the reverse, okay. Okay, so stand number 4 is right over here. Clear on the left side. I do think this is about it. So that's 2 blue, 1 red. Just a quick recall check as we still needed to do that. Engine's dead. Cabin crew, all doors to manual and cross check. So the rest we can do after the checklist. So normally at this point the ground crew would give you a hand signal that the chocks are in place. Then you can release the brakes and turn off the APU. Alright, so shutdown checklist. Transit shutdown checklist. Electrical, on ground power, fasten belts off. Pro beat auto, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto bleeds on, isolation valve. No, sorry, APU bleed. No, wait a moment. Oh boy, that gets different. So air compacts off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off. So start exterior lights. Let's see, they're both below 20. Set. Start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down 10, flaps up no light, parking brake released, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB in, cockpit door unlocked, shutdown checklist complete. So thank you very much, and then on to the next sector. So all the equipment can now come and they can start the deboarding, extend the air stairs. We don't need a bus over here, but we do need stairs in the after as well. And we can request our loaders in order to unload the airplane. And that's basically it, guys. That is how you do a realistic Ryanair flight between Memmingen and Banja Luka. So, once again, beautiful looking scenery that we got over here, and while the FO is doing strange things, is now going to head out for the walkaround. That is where we can use a small moment just to have another look at the scenery and maybe just follow the passenger's path on the way out. So obviously this is where we would start. I really don't know why the drone camera is constantly moving to other spots, but this is where we'd start, of course. So thank you very much, bye bye. Alright, and then, well, airports like these, you know, sometimes they have buses, other times they don't, and I have a feeling this is one of those airports which doesn't really have buses. So they would just put some passenger guidance things in place. Now, the actual abbreviation used for that is PIGS, so yeah, we'll just call them PIGS. So yeah, when those are in place, passengers can get out over here. Now, is there any signs or anything where you've got the actual entry area into the terminal? I don't think there is over here, so we'll probably just take the, yeah, that way out. Probably just go out the way we came in, really. If you know the airport a little bit better than I do, then be sure to let me know about that as well. I mean, okay, this can't be the way out. This can't be the way out. Let's see if we can find something a little bit more fitting. Perhaps something over here? Welcome to Bosnia and Herzegovina, Airport Banja Luka. Well, yeah, this looks more like the place where you can grab your stuff, so probably this is the way out. Oh, look at that, we've even got a pilot over here. Nice stuff they put into here. What's that ID? Can't read it, okay. Okay, so this is the way out, on the side of the terminal then. So they'd probably direct the passengers over here. So let's try that once more. And I'm not going to cut it out because the departures hall does actually look quite amazing in this scenery as well. Okay, so this is the way out. Was wondering about this one when I recorded the first video with it, but well, now I know what these doors are for over here. So passport control, alright, fair enough. Then this is probably where we grab our bags. Well, this is quite certainly where we grab our bags. What do we have there? We got a typo in Ryanair over here. That's nice. Ryanair. I wonder if that's a bug or a feature. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a feature and if they got that at the actual airport as well. So, Banja Luka, extremely adorable. I do like it. Alright, so, customs control. You'll probably have to scan your stuff over here. And thank you very much. No, I don't have anything to say to you. And here we are. So, that's about as Banja Luka as it gets. Really neat little terminal over here. That's what I like about those Ryanair airports. You know, small, not much to worry about, easy to find your way through. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually based some 2 or 3 aircraft over here at some point. Alright, so I did promise you in the last video featuring this airport that I would have a look at the military base on this one as well. So if we just jump over the top of the buildings over here, then we can see that on the other end side we got the military side of the base, and that is actually featured in the Orbeck scenery as well. So if we just go to the drone menu over here, increase the speed a little bit in order to get a decent movement speed. First of all, we can have a very quick look into the control tower. So there's 2 over here. There's the old military one, I believe that's the one on the right, and then we've got the more modern one over here on the left, and this is what it looks like from the inside. So as you can see, we do have a good tower interior over here. That might make the windows a little bit more, a little bit easier to see through, but that is something that I did suggest to them. And then if we just run over to the other side, to the military base of Banja Luka Airport, then we can have a look at that as well. So first thing I do notice is a lot of Soviet helicopters standing around over here. I do suppose that's probably accurate for a former Soviet-friendly country, call it like that. No political messages intended, by the way. Okay, and this is what the military side of things does look like. So pretty cool models that we got over here. We do have a hangar. We have an Antonov. We've got an AN2. Man, that's lovely. That's lovely. Okay, and we got some hangars that we can actually look into. Well, can't look into, but that's a lovely little MSFS technique here. You can basically create textures that look like 3D spaces inside, and that's pretty cool. saves a good amount of performance. Alright, so that much about it over here. Now on here we got a couple of areas for fighter jets, I do believe. Yep. And if we just move along over here to the other end side, then more hangars full with jets. And if we move all the way around, I do believe we're going to find a couple, and there's even a free one over here as well, so that if we want to spawn with a fighter jet, I do believe there were actually some spawn points in here in the scenery as well. So that is what it looks like. Also nice how they put those houses up there on the hills. So pretty good job they did there. Now if we just move over to the other side of the base, we've almost covered it now. Some houses down there, yeah, fine. If we just move over to the other end side over here, we got a little bit of equipment again as well. Now that's our airport VOR down there. And if we just move over here, this by the way is the taxiway down here on the left that you will see on all the civil charts that you're not supposed to use. And then we get down to the other end side. You can see this actually goes quite a way in, away from the runway. But yeah, no. Right, so a couple more hangars that we find over here. And if we just move down along the road, then, well, that's what I call a fleet. That is what I call a fleet. If you know which kind of aircraft types these are, then please do put it in the comments below. Right, even more of them parking here. You've got to show some force on satellite images as well, after all. And if we move further down, I wonder if you can actually taxi around here. Because this looks like a rather abandoned area of the base, if I'm honest. Then even more hangars over here. Without any airplanes in them, though. Alright. And I do believe that is about the end of it. Yep. Here we reach the end of the taxiway and the airport fence. And that's probably the end of the covered area over here as well. So, overall, beautiful little scenery here with Banja Luka. And very good for some Ryanair ops or Wizz Air flies here as well from Dortmund amongst others with A321s. So that certainly provides us some interesting insights into one of those rather remote places that you typically wouldn't get to too much, but that are really nice for low-cost operations. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I do hope you enjoyed this Ryanair real ops. And for now, let's head back to the airplane where we're going to start our flight back, but that is going to happen off screen. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I do hope to see you all again on the next one. Also at this point, thank you to Orbex for providing my copy or my pre-release copy of Banja Luka Airport. Always remember what you're seeing over here is a pre-release beta version, so the final version that is going to be released on the 3rd of February might look slightly different than this one, but overall I can only say that it really gives me that feeling of being back in the good old low-cost days. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like on YouTube, as it does really help out the channel. Be sure to leave a comment below the video. Oh boy. Yeah, it's about time we finish this one. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you really like the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you really like the video, would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and then I see you all again on the next one.